I know what you're thinking, right? You've been working. You've been driving trucks now for, let's just call it 2 years. 2 years, 3 years. And you're just getting to the point where trucking isn't fun anymore. You know what I mean? You're at a point where, you know, you've been in trucking long enough to understand the type of money that you can make, but it's still, you know, something about leaving the house that I feel nobody really wants to do. You know, something I've struggled with my entire trucking career. It's just something about, even if you're regional, you know, not being in your house, in your bed every single night for someone with a similar situation to mine, wife, girlfriend, baby mother, whatever, and, you know, a kid or two, you just don't feel right not being home. And what happens is sometimes this affects your decision-making process when it comes to your job, which in this case is trucking. You know, I can't tell you how many jobs, actually I can, probably about 2 or 3 that I quit or just stopped going to just because I no longer wanted to be separated from my family. You know what I mean? One of the best trucking situations I've ever had in my life, the best trucking situation I've to date as far as money goes, Swift Transportation. You know, I walked away from that the first time simply because, you know, I was tired of being away from my family a long periods of time. You know, I was making over $2,000 a week for on average, leasing and training. You know, I just took my family to Myrtle Beach, and you know, they got to experience a vacation for the first time in their lives. And you know, I had came home and I got caught up in that happy feeling, that happy emotion of, man, I just want to be around my family and be this happy. You know what I'm saying? And it's something that to this day I still struggle with. Like with my schedule with my company now, I'm home every other night. I'm home Monday nights, Wednesday night, Friday nights, Saturday nights, if I'm doing 3 long runs. If I only do 2 long runs, then, you know, I'm home Tuesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. Only night I'm away from home is Mondays and Wednesdays. However, with that, I don't make as much money. And then that is the back and forth in trucking. You know what I mean? That is the I guess the greatest battle in this industry as far as from a truck driving perspective. Money versus time. It is the beginning and the end of any conversation in trucking. Whether you're trying to start an authority, build a fleet, or you just want to be a company driver for the rest of your life. Money versus time. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what type of sweet local gig you have. I don't care how much money you're making OTR. At the end of the day, there is no balance. I feel there is no balance that'll ever feel like enough to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe if we could work 4 days on, 3 days off, then it wouldn't be so bad. But a lot of times, whether you're local or OTR, you know, if you're local, you're working 6 days a week, at least. If you're not working 6 days a week and you don't own your truck, you're not making any money, or you're not making top dollar like you would like to. You know what I'm saying? If you're working 5 days a week, 9 times out of 10, your average check is between $800 and $1,200. Well, some people may be satisfied with that, some aren't. But when you enter into that realm of working 6 days a week, or working even 7 days a week, might as well call yourself an OTR driver at that point, even though some local drivers wouldn't consider themselves OTR. But when you look at a local guy who's working 7 days a week, 10 hours a day, I mean, hell, what time are you spending with your family? You're OTR. You just get to sleep in your bed, but you ain't doing nothing else in your house. You don't got time for anything else, and that's why it'd be so funny watching local guys talk about how much time they spend with their families, and I know they lying, because I've done it all. That's the one thing about me being a job hopper and having 500 jobs in the last 5 years. Like, I've seen a bunch of different perspectives, and a lot of y'all be up here capping, man. You local, but you ain't spending no time with your family. Not like you making it seem like to the OTR drivers. You know what I'm saying? But to bring it back to the point, man, money versus time is what you're gonna have to decide in this industry. And if you're like me and it's a battle to leave the house every time you leave the house now, and you almost want to question if this is even the right industry for you to be in. The only thing I can tell you from my perspective is you got to look at the big picture. You have to look at the big picture. A lot of us don't have any type of college education, barely graduated high school, and was very unsuccessful in any other trade or anything we did before trucking. We obviously weren't successful in it because we're in trucking, okay? And you have to ask yourself, if you stopped driving trucks, what would you really do? If you stopped making the amount of money that you make right now, what would you do? Like, seriously. And I ask that because this is a question that I never really asked myself a lot of times when I would transition between these jobs, because I just got caught up in the emotion of tired of this job, or tired of leaving a family, or tired of whatever. And I got so caught up in that emotion at that particular time that I didn't stop to try to think about how this would affect me 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And now I sit here with a pretty banged up driving record and probably one of the most inconsistent resumes in trucking history. So even if I wanted to make a move to a better situation, which, right now I don't think there is any better situation for me out there than where I'm at now, just because I don't want to go back OTR no matter how much more money I can make, unless we're talking a ridiculous amount, like over $3,000 a week. And I don't want to go to the day-to-day local truck driving job because I just know that life. And it just seems endless. Consistently working with no type of a break longer than 2-3 days. I mean, I kind of go through that here with Great Wide, but eventually I'm gonna start taking time off. Like I know here, all I gotta do is give them a good notice. Like, hey, I want to take X, Y, and Z day off. I want to take this day off, and I could schedule myself for 5 days off and be, everything cool as long as I come back and start working again. And I'm not doing that now because money is needed, and we got goals and aspirations, but that is an option that I know. So that kind of keeps me level. But when you're working every day, and I mean, like, most local drivers ask, next time you see a local driver, go up to them and ask them, hey man, when's the last time you took a day off? Like a 2-3 days of just relaxing. You'd be surprised what some of them tell you. Some of them, I talked to one guy on Friday. He told me he hadn't, Thursday. He told me he hadn't had longer than a 2 to 3 day gap of days off in like 3 years. Besides the holidays. I mean, does that really count? Everybody takes off the holiday. I'm talking about just that random in the middle of February. Hey, I want to take off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I want to take quick 5 days off. I see you guys next week. A lot of guys ain't doing that locally. And that's the thing I think that turns a lot of people away from local, is just constant work. On top of that, you're taking a pay cut because we've already established that OTR makes more than local. I know people are going to say otherwise, but when you just look at the grand scheme of things, it's the truth, man. I'm not here to disrespect anybody, but it's the fucking truth. Sorry. The only reason I make the money I make is because technically I'm OTR. I'm driving 10 hours a day. You know what I mean? Norfolk to Kentucky and back. 6 days a week. That's the only reason why I make this type of money. Only other time I made this type of money and being home this much was MBI, and that's because we was working 6 days a week. 6 days a week, and we was hauling something that a lot of other people didn't haul. which was ash. You don't see too many ash drivers out here. So we had the advantage of being more work than workers. A lot of times you'll find there's more workers than work in some of these situations, but we ain't gonna get into that. Getting back to the point of the video from the beginning, here's the deal. You don't feel like going to work. You don't feel like going back OTR. You don't feel like, you know, you just starting to question your situation. The best thing I can tell you is, number one, get out of your feelings. No decision should be made inside of them. Take it from a guy who can tell you from firsthand, man. Don't make any decisions while you're, you know, sleep on it. Fight through the rest of that day. Get you a good night's rest. Wake up first thing in the morning and then have a conversation with yourself. Keep pushing, man. Just keep pushing. You got to ask yourself, what type of lifestyle do you want to provide for your family? And then you got to ask yourself, what are you willing to do to provide them that lifestyle? Because it ain't as many options as you think out here, man. Yeah, people say start your own business, but even starting your own business, I don't care what the business is, it's not gonna, any type of instant gratification that you're looking for, you're not gonna get it with a brand new business. You know, you probably won't start seeing money from your brand new business for at least a year if you're smart. You know, so I just honestly feel like just keep pushing, man. Don't allow those temporary emotions, those temporary feelings affect you longer than they have to. Don't make a decision off some temporary emotions and then those emotions are gone and now you're stuck with the decision that you made. It's almost like the equivalent of when you're horny and you're talking to the opposite sex. You know, a lot of us in our past over life have done some things with the opposite sex just because of a instantaneous feeling that we've gotten, you know, just off an interaction or just, you know what I mean? Your dick get hard and it won't go soft until you do something about it. So you make decisions based off of that. Like, I ain't gonna beat around the bush. Let's call it what it is. So all I'm just saying is, in life, when your dick get hard, don't be just, and I'm not speaking specifically to sexual now, I'm using it metaphorically at this point. But when your dick get hard and you get in your emotions and you want to make a decision and you want to, you know, not do something or do something based off of that hard dick feeling. In this instance, I'm speaking on your emotions of sadness or whatever you feel when you leave the house. You got to get over it, man. Beat it off and keep it pushing. Don't allow that to let you make a bad decision. Don't allow that to put you in a situation that you really don't want to be in. And don't allow that to mess up a situation that you're currently in. Because that's the worst type of mistake right there. That's the worst type of, because you were in a good situation, and because you allowed a momentary emotion that lasted maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, allow you to have now affect a decision on your annual income, or your secondary, you know, bi-weekly income or whatever, and now it's affecting you. Now you got to live the next 3 years, 5 years, or however many, you know, as long as it takes to fix that mistake. You got to live with that because of that 2 hour window where you felt this way, your dick was hard. That's the best way I can explain it, man. Beat it off and keep pushing. So that's what I tell myself every day. I get in this truck and I'm like, man, I don't feel like leaving. I don't want to drive today. I gotta beat it off and get rid of that feeling and think about my wife and son and think about the life I want to give them. Think about how I want my son to live, you know, 10 years from now. Not just right now, but 10 years from now. Because a lot of times we all fall into that we good right now. And this is what I had to learn. Shout out to my man D-Raj for continuously drilling this in my head. Pause. Is what I had to learn is that just because you good right now don't mean you're going to be good tomorrow. Just because that money coming in right now, this coronavirus is a perfect example to a lot of people that, yeah, we a lot of times mistake our situation as good because we good right now, but any type of hiccup happens, any type of anything, and our whole situation can be turned upside down. I mean, hell, I'm going through a situation now, my transmission in my car just went out. Excuse me. So I'm trying to figure out now, do I want to spend $3,500 to fix this car? Do I want to drop $3,000 to $5,000 to buy another car? You know, or, you know, it's just, you know what I mean? And if my situation was set up to where I was just good if nothing happened, I'd have been panicking right now. But because I'm in a situation where my expenses aren't close to the money that I make, and I have some playroom to have extra money, you know, it might take a week to a month, but I'll get the situation handled just like that. Whereas if I was in a situation where, you know, let's just say I make $4,000 a month, but I'm spending $3,800 a month on expenses, and something like this happened, I'd be screwed for the next 3 months unless I don't pay a bill to handle the situation. But then that puts me, you know what I'm saying, in a bad situation with my bills. Now I'm trying to play catch up, and it just all affects each other. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm rambling at this point. I'm gonna end the video with, keep pushing, man. Keep pushing, keep striving. Don't stop. Keep your goals in mind. Have some goals. Write them down. Stick with them. And no matter what, even on the shitty days, man, just remember those goals. Just to get you through that 24-hour period when you dick hard and you feeling emotional and you about to do something that you're gonna regret later. So, but that's all I got, man. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you watching the video if you're still watching. As always, stay safe, stay positive, stay productive. God Family Trucking. I'm gonna throw this joint up today, so I'm gone.